guys! So this week's discussion and Foxy Learning tutorials are on verbal behavior. And from what I gathered from the tutorials this week is that verbal behavior is behavior that occurs in the presence of somebody else so that the consequence of the verbal behavior is mediated by another person. This differs from nonverbal behavior because with nonverbal behavior, there's not another person mediating the consequence. So an example to really distinguish the two of them might be a student that sees a book on the desk and proceeds to go over to the book and start reading it. This would be an example of nonverbal behavior because the behavior of going over to the book and gaining the reinforcement of reading the book is not mediated by another person. Whereas if a student asked a teacher, "May I have that book?" this behavior would be a verbal behavior because the consequence is mediated by the teacher, who is the listener in this case, who gets the book for the student, therefore mediating the reinforcement. Without a background in behavioral knowledge, somebody might assume, which I made the mistake of assuming as well at first, that verbal behavior is anytime somebody is vocalizing or just speaking, which can be a form of verbal behavior, as Skinner stated, but there's also other forms of verbal behavior such as writing, imitating words and sounds, copying a text, among others. So while speaking can be a form of verbal behavior, is not the only form. And Skinner's analysis of verbal behavior can simply be described to someone without a behavioral background, mainly by saying that it's behavior that occurs in the presence of somebody else. So the most important factor in verbal behavior that I've gained from the subject matter from this week is that somebody else needs to be present to either praise the response, to get an item for somebody. There needs to be someone there to hear what the speaker is saying. So there needs to be a speaker and a listener for verbal behavior to occur. So I hope everybody has a great week, and I look forward to seeing your posts on the discussion board.